If you're watching this close to JE, there's a good chance you're not really studying right now. You're just thinking about how much you've done, about how much you haven't, about whether these last few days even matter anymore. I remember this feeling very clearly, and I want to start with an analogy that helped me understand what this phase actually is. Okay, imagine you're running a long race, not a sprint, something much longer. For most of the race, effort matters, speed matters, hustle matters. But in the last stretch, something changes. You don't win by running harder, you win by wasting less energy. The last few weeks before JE work exactly like that. And most advice fails here, because it keeps telling you to push more when what you really need is to think better. When I was at your place, I didn't understand this immediately. Even though I eventually ended up with a 99.98 percentile, which came out to be around Air 329, I didn't get there by being perfect. I made very real mistakes along the way. I focused a lot on concepts, which is good, but I ignored execution and speed for much longer than I should have. I also started consuming a lot of content. Rank versus percentile videos, analysis videos, strategy videos. It felt really productive, but honestly, it was often easier than sitting down and struggling with questions. So if you're doing that right now, you're not lazy, you're human. Instead of motivation or routines, I want to share something more useful, a way of thinking that actually helped me in the final phase. Few ideas, simple, slightly uncomfortable, but very, very effective. Part 1. Control. The first idea is about control. There are things you cannot control anymore. You cannot control the paper, you cannot control normalization, you cannot control cutoffs. You can't control how prepared others are. Trying to control these quietly drains your energy. What you can control is smaller but much more powerful. You can control A. how you revise, B. how honestly you analyze mocks, C. how you respond to bad scores, and D. how you manage your energy. Let me remind you, peace begins when preparation stops fighting uncertainty. Part 2. Clarity. See, here's something most students never do, and it costs them a lot. They never classify their preparation. Think of your syllabus in 3 layers. Layer 1, topics you can solve even on a bad day. Layer 2 are the topics you understand but mess up under pressure. Layer 3 are topics you mostly guess, or in simple words are bad at. So here's the uncomfortable truth. Your rank in the last month improves more by deleting than by adding. Let that sit for a second. Trying to upgrade to layer 3 rarely pays off this late. But strengthening layer 1 and stabilizing layer 2 gives disproportionate returns. A rough mental rule that helped me was 60% of your effort should go into strengthening your strong topics, 30% should be towards fixing repetitive mistakes, and 10% should be contributed towards study of selectively risky topics. So you don't do all the risky topics or the topics that you don't know, but high weightage topics that could potentially account for few marks in the paper. It's not perfect, but it gives structure, and structure reduces anxiety. Part 3. Mocks. So mocks were really a turning point for me, not because my scores suddenly shot up, but because I stopped treating them as judgment and started treating them as data. A mock is not telling you your worth. It is telling you 3 things. What you knew but still messed up, what you genuinely didn't know, and what you could have avoided under pressure. When you analyze like this, preparation becomes mechanical, not emotional, and that is powerful. Another thing that helped me a lot was being around people who were pushing themselves. So not in a toxic comparison way, but in a way that made me realize if I stayed too comfortable, I'd fall behind. That kind of pressure, when healthy, sharpens you. It keeps you honest. Part 4. ego. So there's one thing I had to learn completely: ego. I asked doubts, a lot of them, even the stupid ones, because at this stage, ego is expensive. Every doubt you don't ask collects interest, and you end up paying for it later. And part 5, mental state. You don't need to feel confident every day. You don't need to feel motivated. You just need to stay honest, consistent, and calm. Calm beats motivation in the last month. So remember that race I talked about at the beginning? At the end, the people who do well aren't the ones who suddenly sprint. They're the ones who stop wasting energy. They breathe, they focus, and then they take the next right step. That's all I want you to do from here. Not panic, not overthink, just take the right next step. I'm rooting for you.